everybody. How are you doing today on this beautiful Thursday? Today, perfect. Okay, a little sparkle here and there. All right, so waiting just a few seconds here to get Alyssa on. Hi, Alyssa. Okay. Let's see if we can get her on. Oh, look at that. Hi, Alyssa. If you can request to join, then we can go ahead. Look at that. I am over here playing with these filters while you do that. All right. So today we're going to be talking about what it means to choose faith over fear. And then we have Alyssa, who is going to talk to us a little bit about her experience. And here we go. Hi.
Hi, how are you, Rosa? Thanks for having me.
I love your background. I'm there.
Oh, thank you. It's been a work in progress. Thank God for that I've been able, to be at home not working. Otherwise, it would have been still a plain wall.
Yeah, you got some time to get creative, right?
Yes, because of COVID.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Trust me, I'm just
At least something positive came out of it, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you
I'm
for
trying
joining
to
me.
remove
Playing with the filters too. I was doing the same while I was waiting for you. I was like, oh, okay, this one makes me look tan. This one sparkles.
I was just, since I can't really see myself, but if I click the exit, it wants me to log off the live. So I'm just gonna leave it.
Yeah. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you, and I know that we've all been through so many things this year, but it's like you have like so much, to such a, amazing story to tell. And I always tell people, I say, if you have, even though sometimes it is like difficult for us to talk about things, and like you said, I speak on these things, but it's not to like call for attention, but it's not. No. And we want to talk about these things so that people know that it's okay to talk about them, and we're not looking for attention. That's the stigma that people have all the time, like, oh, like, I don't want to feel like I'm like, like I'm doing this to get people's attention, but you do hear those. No,
I
do hear
that.
You always have like someone's always gonna say something, and
someone's gonna say something, right? Something negative. No, and I just wanted to thank you because ever since I've been following you, I feel like you just created this safe space where we can be ourselves and talk about the struggles that we're going through. And I feel like a lot of people do go through struggles. Yeah. And they're so, it's hard to open up, right? It took me a long time to really open up and tell my story, even with my family. When I was diagnosed with cancer, like for, I want to say the first 3-4 weeks, only my mom, my boyfriend, my brother, and my sister knew. I'm like, don't tell anybody, because I was still like in shock.
Yeah.
So thank you for having me. I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm so excited.
Yeah, no, you know what? And I tell people, I'm just like, hi. I always say, you know what? We're going to go live, but just make believe that I'm calling you on FaceTime, and then we're just talking to each other.
That's a good one.
But there's an audience behind you.
I know, right?
So that makes it a little bit easier when you're just like, okay, we're FaceTiming with each other, and then you have people who benefit from our conversation.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's what matters, right? That we were able to help somebody. Right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And I think, I know you, when did you decide to like start sharing your story? that's, you know, I know that everyone, like you said, it's very difficult to just tell even your closest people. So when did you say, okay, it's time for me to share this out, you know, with others? When was that time that you know, how did you come up with that decision?
So I think it started after the fact that I met my oncologist, and then just realizing, because you do come to a part that you're like, whoa, this is my new reality, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that once I was like, okay, so the problem's cancer, I need to find a solution to it. And once I was able to like wrap my head around it, that I was going to have to go through this journey, I was like, okay, and I did a video on YouTube, and I'm like, this is how I'm going to let my family know. And because I was
Oh
so,
my gosh.
I just didn't want people to feel sorry or treat me differently.
Yeah, yeah.
I went back to work 2 weeks after my diagnosis, and that's because I live like in the Palm Springs area, and I had to go see another doctor in San Diego, like drive 2 hours away.
Yeah.
But everybody was like, wow, you're back at work already. I was like, yeah, because I needed to keep my mind off
busy.
things.
Yes.
Yes, because at home, like the first days, all you do is Google, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Google's very good, the internet's very
Yes.
good, but
Very good and very
nobody
bad.
kills you faster than Google. So I was like, I can't do this to myself.
WebMD, what are my results?
Yes,
You know?
everything.
Yeah.
Yes, so once I was able to wrap my head around it, get a medical plan, then I was able, like, okay, this is where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I just started to let everybody know. But at first, and I also want to thank Jessie Medina, she's amazing. I remember the first time I ever spoke in front of people, like at a conference, was at her conference for FemX. And I remember telling them, like, I don't want to tell my story because I don't want people to think it's clickbait, right? Like you were saying, you don't want people to think it's for attention.
Yeah.
And she called me out. She's like, no, like, that's bullshit. Like, you need, sorry.
Yeah, yeah,
she's
no,
like,
go ahead, girl.
you need to tell your story because you don't know who you can help along the line. Maybe not right now, but maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
You know, and because when I was first diagnosed with cancer, I was so, I don't want to say that use the word ignorant, but I just felt like there's a lot of misinformation around cancer, right?
Yes.
And then it was a lot of pressure because my oncologist was like, well, because at the time I was 29, he's like, you can meet a fertility specialist that treats this type of cancer, and at the same time they can, you know, help you get pregnant. But then it was like you only have a year to get pregnant. It was like so much stress for me, like everything that was going on, that at some point I was like, wait, I just can't.
Yeah.
And then so from there I just started to get a lot of support from, you know, people in my circle. And I think I was just so, since it's my body, but I still don't know what's going to happen. Even when they give you options, like we can do this or we can do that, it's so hard because I feel like either route is going to be life-changing. Yeah. But I remember you posted something when I started following you, and I was like, well, that's me. Like, I just learned to accept my infertility, right? Yeah. Like, just let go and let God.
Yes.
But yeah, so talking helps.
Yeah, no,
and I tend to be more shy, but
yeah, no.
Yeah.
and
This is teaching me.
It's like something. I was actually just talking to my son about that, and I tell him things that he might not understand, you know, like right now, obviously. But there's a lot of times that you think about things, and you know, I always say to him, you don't have to believe everything you think, okay? And then you know, like always question when you have those thoughts of like, maybe I shouldn't, you know, I should go through this alone, or, you know, like try to be strong, you know, and be strong. And then you have to kind of question your own thoughts at that time. Like, what does it mean though, to be strong and isn't, you know, and then you figure out how being vulnerable and showing, you know, how your vulnerability is like, what makes you even stronger, and then getting the support of other people from that, you know, that people that may be going through similar things, and even if it's not the same thing, you know, like that they can show their support, and that they may want to show their support if you allow them, right?
True. Yes.
Yeah. So
So
yeah.
true.
So I guess, you know, my other question would be like, how, because I know, and I'll share a little bit, because last year, you know, like after I had my son, and I breastfeeding, right? And then you go through so many changes and stuff, and then at one day I was just like, I came out of the shower, and I was just, I felt like a little lump on my breast. So I was like,
Oh.
immediately, you know, and it felt like a big lump at the time. Immediately, my mind was just like panic mode, you know, panic immediately. And then
that's the word. Yeah.
And then in that split second, I can't tell you how many things came to my mind, but the most important thing that came to my mind was just like the most important people in my life, that I was just like, what really matters, you know? And I'm pretty sure for you, you know, like you probably had that moment many times.
Yes, definitely.
But but like from there, what made, you know, like what changed this? How did that change, you know, like the way that you go about life? Like, you know, how did that change the way you do things after that, after those moments? Because I'm pretty sure it was more than one, right?
Yes, I still have those moments. Yeah. I know, but you know what? Okay, so the day that I was diagnosed with cancer, something so crazy happened to me. And I've always been a believer of God, but you always hear stories, right? And then one day it hits you, and it's your turn to what I like to call walking on the desert on your own, right? So I was sitting there, and thank you. And I was sitting there, and I remember she you know, her look in her face, I already knew something was not right. So when she said, you know, it's the biopsy came back as cancer, everything she said after that, I couldn't hear, right? So my head went blank. It's like, what are you saying? So I remember I asked her one question, what stage? Because that was the only thing I knew what to ask. And she said stage 1. And I was like, okay. But see, something inside of me was like, that's her diagnosis, but God has the last word. And I just felt, and I'm like, where did that come from? Right? And
God has
since
the last
that
word.
day, it was so crazy, because I would always complain about my hair. Oh, my hair's so curly, this and that. So I remember the next day, you know, I had been crying, and my boyfriend's like, let's go to the store and buy some candles, because we're Catholic, you know, the ones that have the Jesus. And I was at the store. And I remember so vividly that a girl was behind me. She's like, oh, I love your hair. Can I touch your hair? And I swear I wanted to cry, because I was inside of me. I was like, go ahead, touch it, because I'm not going to have it, you know. So, because at the time I didn't know. So you start to value the smallest things. And I know it's my hair, and it can grow back if I were to go through chemo. But at that moment, it's like, you don't want to lose your hair. You don't want to. It's just the little things, right?
Yeah, of course.
So you start to value, even me being able to go, like, get up, go shower on my own, go to work. I started to value that. When I would always complain, like, oh my God, it's 5 a.m. I have to wake up, get in the shower. It's funny, but you start to value the smallest things. And then you just learn that what really matters, it's like your loved ones, the people around you, right? And you stop complaining about little things.
And then you notice how much you have complained before, or right, like now every day,
like, I can't believe it,
right? Like it's the miracle, you know, like each day is like the miracle that it should be, right? Like amplified, right? Like this, I'm so grateful for another day, and you know, like you want to tell people that, you know, appreciate every day, be grateful every day. But then, you know, like it's, you probably heard that before this happened to you, but then until you actually experience it, it's just like completely different, right? It's just like
it hits different.
it
Yes,
hits definitely different. So you can explain it to people, but then going through it or going through it from a person also that is close to you, you know, like it changed. It is a little bit different.
it does. Yeah.
And you
I've
had
had,
the go ahead. And you had
oh, sorry. No, like I've had other family members or no that went through cancer, and you just never think it's going to be your turn. And now it's like, wow, when you live it, it's so different.
It's so different. Yeah. And you're thinking, and you know, there's people that they don't want to even talk about things like that. And then they're like, you know, I don't think you know, such and such person went through this or that. And then in a way you feel kind of like you are excluded, or your family is excluded from this. And then when you see when it actually hits you, it's so shocking. Like it's just like you can't really it's hard to process just the word, you know, like just hearing the word like cancer, you know, it's just like like explodes right in your face, like
paralyzed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, definitely. Because it's a very strong word to process, right?
Yeah.
And this is where I feel like I was misinformed on the word itself, and I wish like there was just more information. Like the treatments that I've been taking are so different, and you don't know. Like, for example, I'm on hormone therapy. So I didn't know this was a thing before cancer. You just feel like there's only chemo and radiation. Or, you know, now that I know there's different stages. And it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, a lot to take, you know, to learn. And I've spent endless night just like doing my research, reading, going like above and beyond. You know what I mean? Just trying to put in the work.
Yeah. And that's what, like you said, Google could be like really good and really bad for certain things, depending on how you're, you know, what you're looking for. Because but you do get a lot of information, and you get information that sometimes is not like facilitated to, and I have to be honest, people like us Latinos, or you know, even it's just like you see. And for us, to me, growing up, you know, the way that we looked at doctors, the way that my mom looked at doctors, my family looked at doctors, was like, that is like on a pedestal, like, yay, whatever you say, I'll do it. I'll do
my
it.
Mom.
I have no other choice. If you said it, that means it's true. And that's how we would,
that's my mom. You have no idea. That's like the beginning struggles with my mom. Because when she found out, like, she was in my house like in less than 10 minutes, right?
Oh my gosh.
And I remember telling my boyfriend and my mom, like, I don't want to meet my oncologist. I was just scared. And like I said, I didn't have all these information, because at first I was like, they're just going to give me chemotherapy, and then it's going to be the end from there, right? So I remember, like you said, my mom's like, no, you have to go and you have to do everything that he says, right? But then if I wouldn't have done my research,
not you, Alyssa.
Yes, he knows what he's saying. He's gone to school. He's educated, and they are. But they've been practicing that for so long, and I was learning that even if there's new practices, sometimes they're not able to implement that because they have, you know, set rules that they have to follow. And I feel like that's a bit sad, right? Because there's a lot of new technology, but sometimes they can't tap into that.
And and you know, I've heard there's a really famous Indian doctor. There for a second, sorry about that.
Sorry, I didn't.
Sorry, you didn't notice. Good. So you know, there's a doctor. He's an Indian doctor, and his son. He actually passed away recently, but his son kind of is taking on his legacy. And he talked so much about how, you know, Western medicine versus Eastern medicine, and how, you know, like we in the States are compared to the way that they treat things in India and in different countries, that we kind of like treat illnesses by kind of like attacking versus attacking the symptoms versus the root cause.
Versus treating it, yes.
Right, versus finding out like where that comes from. And I always, when someone says, it doesn't matter what it is, I always say, so what do you think is causing that? You know, like where does that come from? And, you know, it's funny that you said it's like hormone therapy that you're doing. A lot of people don't know like how the hormones work and why you would be lacking some or have too much of something else. And if you don't, you know, like if you don't know that they don't really tell you this information.
They don't explain, of course.
Right. And it doesn't matter if it's a headache or a stomach ache or anything. I always say, what is causing that, instead of like, okay, let's take something to kill the pain or to attack whatever, you know, it is, or remove, you know, surgeries to remove or radiation to attack. And his thing is like, why don't we go with you know, finding with symptoms are what is causing the symptoms versus attacking them. So, you know, like it's like a battle versus
like what emotion.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
So
and I've been reading about that a lot too.
Yeah, and I'll send you a video that is just like where just like a
I love seeing all that.
Yeah, it's so amazing.
Bye, Destiny. Sorry. Thank you for joining. Oh, it's just amazing. You guys have to connect.
Yes, that's right. Let's do that. I've been, you know, like I said, trying to connect with all of my Latinas and also in trying to making it a safe space for everyone. And that's when you hear me, you know, like saying my stories and trying to be vulnerable, just to like get people just to be like, to normalize speaking about things that are hard and speaking about things that we need to talk about more often. So,
and we're not,
you know, thank you.
And that's great. That's very brave.
Thank you.
You know, like I said, just creating a space like this and letting us feel comfortable and knowing that you're not going to judge and that you come from a place of understanding. And I don't really see that, you know?
Yes.
So when you invited me, I was like, yes, girl. I know I'm going to be nervous, but I'll do it.
Yes. Definitely. Oh, my God. That's great. And you know what? I see, like, I looked at your page and, you know, from the beginning, I was like, oh, my God, I can tell that she's so creative. You know, like, you're so creative. Everything looks, you know, so great. And you have
thank you.
Like so much in there that I'm like, oh, I need to be doing more of that. She's, you know, she's so good with like photography and things like in video.
You're
like you can tell that you like it, because when you like something, you do more, you know, like you
do more of it.
Yeah, you do more of it.
And it keeps me busy, you know?
Yeah.
It keeps, especially right now in quarantine, and I still search some stuff, but I do it from a point of just learning, right? But I think when you're doing something that you love and enjoy, it really keeps your mind off like the whole bad stuff that's going on.
Yes. Yeah. And I what are some of the things that you want to you know, like do more of? Like, you know, you do YouTube videos and you're here on IG, and you said you're also on Pinterest. So what are the things that you want to like start doing more of, that you're enjoying more now, you know, connecting or something like that? What are some of those things?
Okay, so let me take it back a little bit. So back in 2009, I launched my first digital magazine because I love music. So it was to support new and upcoming Latin artists. And I still have the website, but I haven't done much. So at the time, I felt like I was ahead of my time, because everybody was like, no, if you don't print, you're never going to make it. So I did it for a year. And then that was before I moved to Miami, because I was doing music business. And now with everything that happened, I'm like, you know what? It's been my dream, that magazine. I'm going to try to do it again. But now it's like, it's like a blog, you know what I mean? So now I feel like first it was ahead of its time. Now it's like I can't find a space to like stand out.
Yeah.
But that's what I want. I want to take my time, put in the work, and start, you know, working with you and independent artists in the Latin music industry.
I love that.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like I watched a couple of your videos, and your energy, you know, like, and I said this today, it's like your energy comes through so well through the camera. When you come in and you're like, hell, what is it that you say? Hola people or
Hola people, ¿qué onda people? Yeah.
¿Qué onda people? Yeah, ¿qué onda people? Yeah. I love that. And
oh my God.
And I think you're you're in the right track because you are being yourself, and this is so important. This is, you know, like no one has been through the things you've been through, and no one, you know, like no one is Alyssa. No one is, you know, like the doing the things that you're doing and going through and having been through the experiences that you've been through. So you are obviously, you know, like unique. You have what it takes to stand out because of that. So
you're gonna make me blush.
Being your most authentic self is just like the thing that helps you stand out the most, and believing that you have that's probably the most important thing. And I think I was saying that you know, in a couple of my posts, and staying true to yourself, and just like using that to stand out, and knowing that what you have is good for the people that are going to, you know, like the people that need to hear that message, especially with all the things that you've been through, girl. I like keep speaking about it and keep being yourself, like keep bringing that message as yourself. And then that's already going to be, you know, like the best way to spread your message. So
thanks. I needed to hear that, because I'm going to be honest. Sometimes you doubt yourself, right? Sometimes you're like, am I putting too much out there? But then it's like, oh, but then you feel like you want to share something, and then it's like, should I not share this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
and, you know, and the way that you show up as, you know, confident. And I think that's great, because it's like, you know, why not? If I am myself, why can't I show up and just own it? Just like own everything that I do, and everything, you know, that I create is your space. So it's just like inspiring to me, and I think obviously to many other people to see you show up that way, to see you show up so powerful in your own space, and you know, with your own story, and being able to talk about it. That's amazing. So please keep doing what you're doing. and I know we're gonna hear more from you. I can already tell. We're gonna hear more things from you coming soon. But you know,
likewise, you're always creating as well. You're always on the live posting. It's amazing. And your feed looks incredible. It's wow. You can tell you put a lot of work in there, and I love it. I love going through your feed. It lifts your spirit up, you know, the stories, the quotes, everything.
Yeah, and sometimes I'm like, you know, like I'm talking to my son, and I'm like, oh, that's a good. I should post that, you know, like.
Oh, see, yes, write it down.
Yeah, let me write it down. I was telling him how, you know, like repetition is the key to changing your mind. You know, doing something over and over again is what's going to actually kind of like reprogram your thoughts and reprogram the way that you work on a daily. So that's, you know, that's probably what's gonna come next. Right? Yes.
Practice makes perfect. Yes, definitely.
Yes. So tell me, you know, like what, you know, with your family, like how is it when you say, you know, like you're doing things online? Because I know that my family is just like, oh, what do you do online? You like posting things?
Yes.
You like posting things, and like but to you are on YouTube, so it's like, you know, I wonder what your family says like about that.
Yeah. So at first, I felt like they didn't really understand, like, oh, this is just a hobby, right? They've been very supportive, I must note that. But it's not until I started attending events that my mom, my boyfriend, even my sister, my brother is like, oh, I want to go, you know, and usually you get like a +1. And then I don't get a lot, but when you get like PR boxes or something like that, you know who gets so excited? It's so funny. My mom. She's like, get the mandaron. Like, I want to see, is there anything for me? So yeah, so I always try to, if I'm not going to use it or if it's, yes, that's my mom. So I'll send her a picture. And it's so funny because she's learning how to use Instagram. And sometimes I'll wake up like with 100 likes, and then the next day, I don't think she knows. She'll take it off and give me the like again. But I mean, they've been great. They've been very supportive.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just good to know that they know I like it and I enjoy it, and they give me my space and my time. So if they know I'm going to record, I live with my boyfriend, so I'll just, you know, let him know today I'm going to record. And usually I do it when he's at work. So like right now, he knows I'm on a live, and he's very supportive. And they know that it's like an outlet for me, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
that's
so
good.
I can't complain.
So he's okay. So he's good. Now, right now, my boyfriend and my kids are downstairs, and I was like, okay, you guys go downstairs, have fun, but don't come up here. Just stay down there, okay? Okay.
Turn the TV down. No, I'm just waiting. Yeah,
right.
That's me.
Exactly.
No, that's me. Yeah. But I think it's important.
Yeah,
to have that support. Yeah.
Yes, for sure, very important. And you know, I know we want to talk a little bit about what it means to you. You know, like what we said, how you decided to choose faith, because you told me a little bit about, you know, how the doctors will give you one diagnosis, but then God has the final word, right? That's what. Yes. Right. So you are. Have you always been like, you know, very faithful and believer, or did you start that more now, or did it get amplified after? You know.
So I'm gonna be like 100% honest. My grandma was always a Catholic, and it was to a point that, oh, you have to pray, and I was like, oh my God, I have to pray right now. You know, when you're younger, growing up.
Yes.
And I've always had this enormous faith in God, but once I was diagnosed, it's like I met him at a different level. Like my connection with him changed, and I know that I had to help myself. But I know that if anyone was going to help me, it was going to be him. Yeah. So that's when, like I was telling you, my whole fertility process, it got to a point where it was like too much. It was going to be a lot of like not only physical, but mental stress, emotional stress. Yeah. So I remember one night I was like, if this is the path that you want for me, like guide me. Let me understand. Yeah. And after that night, I just felt peaceful, right? Yeah. Because of course I want a family, but I felt like when I was diagnosed with cancer and you just have like a year to get pregnant, I didn't feel like I was ready to have like a baby, but I just felt so much pressure, like, oh my God, if I don't get pregnant right now, and if I get my hysterectomy, I'm never going to be a mother. And it was just so much for me to take in. Yeah. And then, so after that night, I was crying, I was praying, and I felt like, because at first I didn't want anybody to see me cry. But then once I was like, it's okay to cry. Like you said, just be vulnerable. Yeah. It just like, I felt like something cleansed me. Like a release. Like I felt like I was able to breathe. Yes. Like a big release. And so now we're still in the same process, and my doctor or the oncologist, who's been wanting to practice, the hysterectomy. And I remember fighting for another biopsy. Yeah. And he was like, no. I'm like, can we do the MRI one more time? He said no. Finally, he gave in. So thanks to that MRI and the biopsy, it came out that cancer is no longer seen. Yes. Right? Yes. So, I mean, there's little things, and he, you know how oncology, he has to do his job. Right. And I still see him, and I try to take care of myself and stuff. Yes. But I just feel peace now. Yeah. Like, if I have a family, and it's not like I can only have a family, biological, I can adopt in the future. Yeah. So now when you understand that, It's like, I feel good. I feel at peace.
Yeah.
So I guess that's when you said choosing faith over fear. Because at first
Yes.
you're scared. You're terrified.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and that, because I would also think like, okay, if I have a baby and then what happens if the cancer gets worse? Like, you know?
Yeah.
Am I going to die? Am I going to leave him? You just go through the worst and
all
darkest
of
thoughts
every type of scenario. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So for my mental health, I was like, I'm just going to let it go.
Let go.
And let's see. Let's see what, happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't easy.
You feel that relief, right? Yeah. You have to kind of like, and tears just like kind of cleanse and release.
They do.
They're so good. I say it all, whenever you feel that weight, I feel like I have to cry, and I'll say I need to cry somehow today, so let me put a really sad movie and see if I can just cry it off for like the whole night. for
sometimes
a while.
you can cry.
Yes. And you feel
definitely
it like
crying cleanses.
Yeah. Like it's just there, and a lot of times you're just like you snap at people that are just don't that kind of like catch your wrath from you being angry at something else that you have been kind of holding on for so long, and when you release that, it just feels like, oh, okay, I'm me again.
Yes, you feel light, right? Like you don't feel this weight over your shoulders.
Right. Yes. Yeah, and it's like a peaceful feeling afterwards, right? And I know that I've heard like babies actually cry, and cry themselves to sleep, and it's because they release like some like in the tears that makes them kind of calm, like a calming sensation for some reason. So that's the same for us, for adults.
That's interesting.
We need that too.
Good to know. Yes.
Yeah.
And I hadn't felt that peaceful in a long time. Since it's crazy what the cancer diagnosis did. Like maybe it took that for me to feel that kind of peace. I mean, I never thought I would say that, but now looking back.
Like right, you are able. That's great that you're able to see, like the good out of, like the good things out of something so bad, and I think that would be a good message for everybody right now, but like the whole 2020
with everything like, going on, right?
With everything that has happened, that you may not be able to see like the good right now when you're in the middle of it, right? When you were in the middle of it, you probably were just like, why is this happening to me, right? But then afterwards, now that you're just like a little bit past that, you're just like, okay, now I see how I have changed and how it has transformed you in a way, right?
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Yeah.
I know. It's crazy for me. Looking back, if I wouldn't have gone through certain things, I wouldn't be where I'm at, doing what I like and really enjoying myself.
Yeah.
Like going back to my pictures, I would never post like a full body picture. Like, I can't, my self-image was very bad in a sense, like low self-esteem. Like I was insecure. Now I'm like, I'm gonna post it if I like it. I'm gonna post it. This is me. It's okay.
You look beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
I can't say that enough. Like I love the way that you show up, and you said that your self-image, your self-esteem or your self-image has improved because you just showing up that way, and we can see it, so that's great.
You learn to value everything.
Yes. Everything. I love it. So let's I guess wrap up with a message for our Latinas or our girls that are going through things that you're going through. What would be the thing that you would say, this is what I would have wanted to hear at the beginning? Like what would be that message for you that you can say to that person but that was going through that at first? So what would you say to her?
Especially as Latinas, I feel like our intuition is so big, but for some reason we want to ignore it. Like, no, we tend to ignore it. So always follow your intuition. Like I said, since my diagnosis, something inside me was like, no, that's her diagnosis, but God has the last word. So always believe in yourself. And I always tell this in my stories. Do your research. if you're diagnosed with whatever it is, you know, take your medication, but help yourself. Help yourself. Dig a little bit deeper. Like you were talking earlier, where does this come from? And I don't know the word in English, but there's the word in Spanish, and it's called biodesprogramación. So how they work with you is like trying to find an emotion. You know, was it anger? Was it jealousy? What was going behind it? So what I learned from cancer is that usually it's after a major event in your life. So before that, a year before that, I had separated from my boyfriend. You know, he moved back to his mom's. I moved back to my mom's. We lost our place together that I really loved. So en biodesprogramación, mine is uterine cancer. And ironically, it's when you lose a home or you lose something that you wanted and felt so deeply. And I was like, whoa. So that's how you start to like look and understand things. So I would just tell them, keep doing your research, trust yourself, and strive for a second opinion, right? But always trust yourself.
Trust yourself and trust that gut feeling, right? That's in there that is telling you that, you know,
it's there for a reason.
Yes, listen to that. And it's funny because I had an interview recently with someone. She was talking about how you know, hope after having lost many you know, babies, and she was saying how she felt like she it didn't feel right for some reason, her first pregnancy, and she was saying, you know, I should have trusted myself, you know, and the same thing, kind of like listen to your body and listen to the way you're feeling, because you know, like you have that instinct and that intuition that is it's like something that comes with that is
like a little voice.
You're right. That is already there, and you just need to trust that, and then, you know, allow that to like always guide you. So and always having that faith, like you said, and being able to say, I have, you know, like the doctor may have a diagnosis, but I have also my faith, and I think faith, like you said, can move mountains. So having that, you know, having that faith and waking up every single day with that gratitude and just like keeping that every single day. I think that's so important. I think that's going to move us forward. And so I love that message. and I want to help, you know, I want to help you to continue to spread that message. So we'll talk again in the future. I cannot wait to see all of the things that you're going to do.
Likewise. I can't wait to see your next live. You always have amazing girls here, and I love their stories.
Thank you so much. And thank you for doing this. I posted your YouTube. I posted your YouTube channel on my stories. So for those of you who are on my side who haven't followed Alyssa, go and follow Alyssa, and then go check out her videos because they are so good.
I'll be waiting.
Yes,
to follow back. Yes, definitely.
Yes, everybody. All right, I appreciate that, and thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for all the people that are watching and that are joining us today, for all the love. Because I know you get so much love.
You guys have to connect too. Have you seen her designs? They're amazing.
I have to connect, Claudia. Yes, I'm gonna check out her page, and I love connecting with my Latinas, so I'm gonna do that. But thank you guys so much, and thank you, Alyssa. Like I said, we will see each other again. We'll have another conversation because this was really good. I could talk to you for a really long time.
Me too. And I was nervous at first, but I love this.
See?
Well, thank you. I know. It's like we're FaceTiming, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
See? It's like
I'm going to think about that.
Yes. Next time, when you want to go live, just say, hey, FaceTime me for a second.
That works.
Right,
well, have a nice night. Until next time. Cuídate.
Bye-bye.
Bye.